Touch and retrace. Touch and expire. I'm going to show you right now how two myths you may believe are false. The tool suite will tell you this. We're going to talk about a touch and retrace. Now what a touch and retrace is, just a simple scenario. Basically, price is moving along here along this line, but you're waiting for price to pull down here before you pull the trigger. You want price to come back to this area, and you want to know how often, if price comes down there, how often it either retraces and expires above this line, or how often it comes all the way back up here and expires all the way back up the I got tongue-tied. All the way back above the ATM line. So, real world example, a touch and retrace is looking for price, for a signal to come out and price to come and touch a certain area, such as pull back and touch an ITM area, and then retrace, like it came down here and touched the ITM. It retraced, and did it expire back above this ITM line, this line right here? Yes it did. So it counted it as one of the wins. It's got a 50% probability of doing that. Now guess what? How often does price come down here and touch even a deeper set of strike lines? Well, it does it, not too often, but when it does, it doesn't have a good probability. So when price pulls back, it may not just expire above where you're thinking of. This is one of the myths in trading. Well, if price pulls back so far, it's got to bounce back up from there. Well, no, it doesn't, and you can see that with the tool suite. Likewise, you can see OTMs as well. We just talked about if a signal came out, how often would price come back and retrace? Well, when a signal comes out, price can go to several different price levels, and it'll tell you how often price will touch that level and retrace back inside that level. So if it touches this area, it's going to retrace and expire back inside of here 50% of the time. If price were to jump up and touch this area, like it did right here, it would expire below there 47% of the time, and so on and so forth. But what if you're thinking about getting into some OTM trades or something like that? You want price to pull way back, and then expire back above the ATM line. Well, if you want to look at that, you simply go in here and click on Touch and Expire. Now on the Touch and Expire, this will show you how often, if price pulls back to a certain area or goes too far in a certain area, how often it will turn right back around and expire back on the other side of the ATM line that the signal came out at. So this is a down signal. How often, if it comes and touches this ITM line right here, is it going to turn right around and expire below the hypothetical ATM line? Does it only 35% of the time? Not much at all. Is it good enough for an OTM trade? Like if price came back here and touched this line, would you want to buy an OTM sell an OTM down here? Well, you could, depending on how much you could get for it and depending on a lot of other probabilities. But I personally, I don't like these probabilities, so that I would not do that. I would know to stay out of that trade. Let's look at the signal here. It expired, down here. Did it expire all the way below ATM? No, it didn't. But how often when the signal comes out, when price goes all the way to the very end, how often does it turn right back around and expire back down below the ATM signal line? It does it 18% of the time. This could be used as all kinds of confirmation as well. Let's say you're in a trade. Let's say you got in an ATM trade right here. Let's say you just got in an ATM trade. You bought it at 50 or 55 or whatever, and price just rose, and now you're thinking, okay, and then price fell, whatever, and then you're thinking, okay, should I hang on to it or should I sell it at a profit because I'm already in profit? How often is it going to expire below the ATM line? Well, I know it only does it 18% of the time. So I know I've got an 81% probability that my trade is going to pay off, and I only paid like 50 or 60 for it. So that's what I can look at for confirmation. If you didn't understand what I just said, kind of rewind and go through it again. So now we've talked about all of these. Expiry, dual expiry, touch, dual touch, touch and retrace, and touch and expire. What I want you to do, I want you to take everything we've learned so far and we're going to do a review on everything we learned on the very next video.